How to run a human mind. There are many layers of the human mind. People can talk about many aspects of what drives us, from the physical, physiological, the mental, and emotional. But let's be more precise about the very things we care about. There are elements to our personality that drive us. What I mean by drive, I mean we lock ourselves into, we commit. Rarely do human beings commit to something, usually veering off to some other task or hobby. So, what is it which drives us towards commitment? The most important force in all of us is how we see or perceive ourselves. This is a driving force, as it defines our existence, our purpose. The center of our brain is always asking the whys of life, even why should I get up today? We have this need to understand the why, and it's very important to see how we run and how others try to run with these mechanisms. How we perceive ourselves determines our decisions and actions. Within this perception is the self-identity. If this identity does not have a clear definition, it can go into crisis mode at some point in one's life. Again, driven by the why, i.e., why am I here if I'm going nowhere? Reaching for purpose, the mind focuses on usually a single idea of that purpose. It needs some sort of emotional and psychological fuel to meet its demand for the why. This is when the individual becomes vulnerable. You could see how a cult could come into a person's life at this point and begin programming a sense of identity for them. Unknowingly believe, and with good intentions, they project they are really about power and control over your belief system. There are a few elements to our behavior that need to be understood now. These elements fall within the 7 deadly sins, which in fact is not a biblical term. The sins are pride and envy, with wrath and sloth a close second. Envy is the most deadly of sins in terms of using it as a tool. The reason is because it sets the mind, much like a dog, in a single frame of thinking, mostly negative, and begins growling at these facts related to what others have. The reason why it's so deadly, beyond the obvious, and I have stated this before, is every second of every minute you use on envy, you are distracting yourself from focusing on what you can do and the tasks that you can accomplish. What other people have or what other people are doing is no use to you other than to inspire, but never to wonder. Never wonder about what others have obtained because you don't have all the facts. It truly is a waste of time. Envy, however, wishes to destroy you with all sorts of mental energy spent on why these people have things that you don't. It's the red pill versus the blue. If you take the blue pill, you will forever be lost in envy, wondering about others instead of changing your own life. An endless road to nowhere. Now the second one is pride. It's to create a sealant over envy. Once the mind has been captured, falling into paying attention to what others have, preoccupied with this emotional byproduct because you don't own, and owning is the ironic part of envy, you are now committed to this purpose and identity of somehow finding a solution to this problem of getting what others have, of course without putting in the work. If you put in the work, you wouldn't be focused on envy. Irony. Pride follows as a sealant after a number of years, let's say a commitment to this envy. Now, one must decide after much failure with envy, it doesn't work to get out of it. But the problem with trying to get out of it, everyone will know you are a failure, and the failure leads to shame. Shame is the key byproduct, but not a part of the 7 deadly sins. However, it is a key component to what drives our decisions, even the decision to end our lives prematurely. Envy, pride, and shame are easy components to understand, which is why this is a worthy segment. However, nobody addresses these elements to help us bring it to our minds. It's important to understand human tendencies, especially the ones which can lead us towards failure. There is an enemy, and that enemy wishes for you to fail. And the way it gets you to fail is to make you the enemy with this formula. Envy is a distraction. It is the epitome of failure because the individual isn't focused on a positive accomplishment. What others have is not of your own concern. The only concern is what I can do today to further my existence in a world that would rather just see me go away. This is harsh, but to a degree true. Everyone must define themselves in this world to demonstrate existence and worthiness, not because we have to, but because we need to. It is a big part of who we are. Find it.